Part 20. Or who created the heavens and the earth, and sends down for you water from the clouds. Then we cause to grow thereby beautiful gardens. It is not possible for you to make the trees therefore to grow. Is there a God with a law? Nay, they are a people who deviate. Or who made the earth a resting place, and made in it rivers, and raised on it mountains, and placed between the two seas a barrier. Is there a God with a law? Nay, most of them know not. Or who answers the distressed one when he calls upon him, and removes the evil, and will make you successors in the earth. Is there a God with a law? Little it is that you mind. Or who guides you in the darkness of the land and the sea, and who sends the winds as good news before his mercy. Is there a God with a law? Exalted be Allah above what they associate with him. Or who originates the creation, then reproduces it, and who gives you sustenance from the heavens and the earth. Is there a God with a law? Say, bring your proof if you are truthful. Say, no one in the heavens and the earth knows the unseen but Allah, and they know not when they will be raised. Nay, their knowledge reaches not the hereafter. Nay, they are in doubt about it. Nay, they are blind to it. And those who disbelieve say, when we have become dust and our fathers too, shall we indeed be brought forth? We have certainly been promised this, we and our fathers before. These are naught but stories of the ancients. Say, travel in the earth, then see what was the end of the guilty. And grieve not for them, nor be distressed because of what they plan. And they say, when will this promise come to pass if you are truthful? Say, maybe somewhat of that which you seek to hasten has drawn nigh to you. And surely thy Lord is full of grace to men, but most of them do not give thanks. And surely thy Lord knows what is in their what their breasts conceal, and what they manifest. And there is nothing concealed in the heaven and in the earth, but it is in a clear book. Surely this Quran declares to the children of Israel most of that wherein they differ. And surely it is a guidance and a mercy for the believers. Truly thy Lord will judge between them by his judgment, and he is the mighty, the knowing. So rely on Allah. Surely thou art on the plain truth. Certainly thou canst not make the dead to hear, nor canst thou make the deaf to hear the call when they go back retreating. Nor canst thou lead the blind out of their error. Thou canst make none to hear except those who believe in our messengers, so they submit. And when the word comes to pass against them, we shall bring forth for them a creature from the earth that will speak to them, because people did not believe in our messages. And the day when we gather from every nation a party from among those who rejected our messages, then they will be formed into groups, until when they come, he will say, did you reject my messages while you did not comprehend them in knowledge? Or what was it that you did? And the word will come to pass against them, because they were unjust, so they will not speak. See they not that we have made the night that they may rest therein, and the day to give light? Surely there are signs in this for a people who believe. And the day when the trumpet is blown, then those in the heavens and those in the earth will be struck with terror, except such as Allah please, and all shall come to him abased. And thou seest the mountain, thou thinkest them firmly fixed, passing away as the passing away of the cloud, the handiwork of Allah, who has made everything thoroughly. Surely he is aware of what you do. Whoever brings good, he will have better than it, and they will be secure from terror that day. And whoever brings evil, these will be thrown down on their faces into the fire. Are you rewarded aught except for what you did? I am commanded only to serve the Lord of this city, who has made it sacred, and his are all things, and I am commanded to be of those who submit. and to recite the Quran. So whoever goes aright, he goes aright for his own soul, and whoever goes astray, say, I am only one of the warners. And say, Praise be to Allah, He will show you His signs, so that you shall recognize them, and thy Lord is not heedless of what you do. Surah 28, the narrative, Al-Qa'as. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, benign, hearing, knowing God. These are the verses of the book that make manifest. We recite to thee the story of Moses and Pharaoh with truth, for a people who believe. Surely Pharaoh exalted himself in the land and made its people into parties, weakening one party from among them. He slaughtered their sons and let their women live. Surely he was one of the mischief makers. And we desire to bestow a favor upon those who were deemed weak in the land, and to make them the leaders, and to make them the heirs, and to grant them power in the land, and to make Pharaoh and Haman and their host see from them what they feared. And we revealed to Moses' mother, saying, Give him suck. Then when thou fearest for him, cast him into the river, and fear not, nor grieve. Surely we shall bring him back to thee, and make him one of the messengers. So Pharaoh's people took him up, that he might be an enemy and a grief for them. Surely Pharaoh and Haman and their host were wrongdoers. And Pharaoh's wife said, A refreshment of the eye to me and to thee. Slay him not. Maybe he will be useful to us, or we may take him for a son. And they perceived not. And the heart of Moses' mother was free from anxiety. She would have almost have disclosed it, had we not have strengthened her heart, so that she might be of the believers. And she said to his sister, Follow him up. So she watched him from a distance while they perceived not. And we did not allow him to suck before. So she said, Shall I point out to you the people of a house who will bring him up for you, and they will wish him well? So we gave him back to his mother, that her eye may be refreshed, and that she might not grieve, and that she might know that the promise of Allah is true, but most of them know not. And when he attained his maturity and became full grown, we granted him wisdom and knowledge, and thus do we reward those who do good to others. And he went into the city at the time of carelessness on the part of its people. So he found therein 2 men fighting, one being of his party and the other of his foes. And he who was of his party cried out to him for help against him who was of his enemies. So Moses struck him with his fist and killed him. He said, This is on account of the devil's doing. Surely he is an enemy, openly leading astray. He said, My Lord, surely I have done harm to myself, so do thou protect me. So he protected him. Surely he is the forgiving, the merciful. He said, My Lord, because thou hast bestowed a favor on me, I shall never be a backer of the guilty. And he was in the city fearing, awaiting, when lo, he who had asked his assistance the day before was crying out to him for help. Moses said to him, Thou art surely one erring manifestly. So when he desired to seize him who was an enemy to them both, he said, O Moses, dost thou intend to kill me as thou didst kill a person yesterday? Thou only desirest to be a tyrant in the land, and thou desirest not to be of those who act aright. And a man came running from the remotest part of the city. He said, O Moses, the chiefs are consulting together to slay thee, so depart at once. Surely I am of those who wish thee well. So he went forth therefrom, fearing, awaiting. He said, My Lord, deliver me from the iniquitous people. And when he turned his face towards Midian, he said, Maybe my Lord will guide me in the right path. And when he came to the water of Midian, he found there a group of men watering, and he found besides them 2 women keeping back their flocks. He said, What is the matter with you? They said, We cannot water until the shepherds take away their sheep from the water, and our father is a very old man. So he watered their sheep for them, then went back to the shade and said, My Lord, I stand in need of whatever good thou mayest send to me. Then one of the two women came to him, walking bashfully. She said, My father invites thee, that he may reward thee for having watered for us. So when he came to him and related to him the story, he said, Fear not, thou art secure from the iniquitous people. One of them said, O my father, employ him. Surely the best of those that thou canst employ is the strong, the faithful one. He said, I desire to marry one of these two daughters of mine to thee, on condition that thou serve me for 8 years. But if thou complete 10, it will be of thy own free will. And I wish not to be hard on thee. If Allah please, thou wilt find me one of the righteous. He said, That is agreed between me and thee. Whichever the two terms I fulfill, there will be no injustice to me, and Allah is surety over what we say. Then when Moses had completed the term and was traveling with his family, he perceived a fire on the side of the mountain. He said to his family, Wait, I see a fire. Maybe I will bring to you from it some news or a brand of fire, so that you may warm yourselves. And when he came to it, he was called from the right side of the valley in the blessed spot of the bush. O Moses, surely I am Allah, the Lord of the worlds, and cast down thy rod. So when he saw it in motion, as if it were a serpent, he turned away retreating, and looked not back. O Moses, come forward and fear not. Surely thou art of those who are secure. Insert thy hand into thy bosom. It will come forth white without evil, and remain calm in fear. These two are two arguments from thy Lord to Pharaoh and his chiefs. Surely they are a transgressing people. He said, My Lord, I killed one of them, so I fear lest they slay me. And my brother Aaron, he is more eloquent in speech than I. So send him with me as a helper to confirm me. Surely I fear that they would reject me. He said, We will strengthen thine arm with thy brother, and we will give you both an authority, so that they shall not reach you. With our signs, you two and those who follow you will triumph. So when Moses came to them with our clear signs, they said, This is nothing but forged enchantment, and we never heard of it among our fathers of old. And Moses said, My Lord knows best who comes with guidance from him, and whose shall be the good end of the abode. Surely the wrongdoers will not be successful. And Pharaoh said, O chief, I know no God for you besides myself. So kindle a fire for me, O Haman, on bricks of clay. Then prepare for me a lofty building, so that I may obtain knowledge of Moses' God, and surely I think him a liar. And he was unjustly proud in the land, he and his host, and they deemed that they would not be brought back to us. So we caught hold of him and his host. Then we cast him into the sea, and see what was the end of the iniquitous. And we made them leaders who called to the fire, and on the day of resurrection they will not be helped. And we made a curse to follow them in this world, and on the day of resurrection they will be hideous. And certainly we gave Moses the book after we had destroyed the former generations, clear arguments for men and a guidance and a mercy that they may be mindful. And thou wast not on the western side when we revealed to Moses the commandment, nor wast thou among those present. But we raised up generations, then life became prolonged to them, and thou wast not dwelling among the people of Midian, reciting to them our messages, but we are the sender of messengers. And thou wast not at the side of the mountain when we called, but a mercy from thy Lord, and that thou mayest warn a people to whom no warner came before thee, that they may be mindful. And lest if a disaster should befall them for what their hands have sent before, they should say, Our Lord, why didst thou not send to us a messenger, so that we might have followed thy messages and been of the believers? But now, when the truth has come to them from us, they say, Why is he not given the like of what was given to Moses? Did they not disbelieve in that which was given to Moses before? They say, 2 enchantments backing each other up. And they say, surely we are disbelievers in both. Say, then bring some other book from Allah, which is a better guide than these 2. I will follow it if you are truthful. But they answer thee not. Know that they only follow their low desires. And who is more erring than he who follows his low desires without any guidance from Allah? Surely Allah guides not the iniquitous people. And certainly we have made the word to have many connections for their sake, so that they may be mindful. Those to whom we gave the book before it, they are believers in it. And when it is recited to them, they say, we believe in it. Surely it is the truth from our Lord. We were indeed before this submitting ones. These will be granted their reward twice, because they are steadfast, and they repel evil with good, and spend out of what we have given them. And when they hear idle talk, they turn aside from it and say, for us are our deeds, and for you are your deeds. Peace be to you. We desire not the ignorant. Surely thou cannot guide whom thou lovest, but Allah guides whom he pleases, and he knows best those who walk aright. They say, if we follow the guidance with thee, we should be carried off from our country. Have we not settled them in a safe, sacred territory to which fruits of every kind are drawn? A sustenance from us, but most of them know not. And how many a town have we destroyed, which exalted in its means of subsistence? So those are their abodes. They have not been dwelt after them except a little, and we are ever the inheritors. And thy Lord never destroyed the towns until he had raised in their metropolis a messenger, reciting to them our messages. And we never destroyed the towns except when their people were iniquitous. And whatever things you have been given are only a provision of this world's life and its adornment. And whatever is with Allah is better and more lasting. Do you not then understand? Is he to whom we have promised a goodly promise, which he will meet with, like him whom we have provided with the provisions of this world's life? Then on the day of resurrection, he will be of those brought up for punishment. And the day when he will call them and say, where are those whom you deem to be my associates? Those against whom the word has proved true will say, our Lord, these are they whom we caused to deviate. We caused them to deviate as we ourselves deviated. We declare our innocence before thee. Us they never worshipped. And it will be said, call your associate gods. So they will call upon them, but they will not answer them. And they will see the chastisement. Would that they had followed the right way. And the day he will call them and say, what was the answer you gave to the messengers? On that day excuses will become obscure to them, so they will not ask each other. But as to him who repents and believes and does good, maybe he will be among the successful. And thy Lord creates and chooses whom he pleases. To choose is not theirs. Glory be to Allah, and exalted be he above what they associate with him. And thy Lord knows what their breasts conceal and what they proclaim. And he is Allah, there is no God but he. His is the praise in this life and the hereafter. And his is the judgment, and to him you will be brought back. Say, do you see if Allah were to make the night to continue incessantly on you till the day of resurrection? Who is the God beside Allah who could bring you light? Will you not then hear? Say, do you see if Allah were to make the day to continue incessantly on you to the day of resurrection? Who is the God besides Allah that could bring you to the night in which you take rest? Do you not then see? And out of his mercy he has made for you the night and the day, that you may rest therein, and that you may seek of his grace, and that you may give thanks. And the day he will call them and say, and the day when he will call them and say, where are my associates whom you pretended? And we shall draw forth from among every nation a witness and say, bring your proof. Then shall they know that the truth is Allah's, and that which they forged will fail them. Korah was surely of the people of Moses, but he oppressed them, and we gave him treasure, so much so that his hoard of wealth would weigh down a body of strong men. When his people said to him, exalt not, surely Allah loves not the exultant. And seek the abode of the hereafter by means of what Allah has given thee, and neglect not thy portion of the world, and do good to others, as Allah has done good to thee, and seek not to make mischief in the land. Surely Allah loves not the mischief makers. He said, I have been given this only on account of the knowledge I have. Did he not know that Allah had destroyed before him generations who were mightier in strength than he and greater in assemblage? And the guilty are not questioned about their sins. So he went forth to his people in his finery. Those who desired this world's life said, oh, would that we had the like of what Korah is given. Surely he is possessed of mighty good fortune. But those who were given the knowledge said, woe to you! Allah's reward is better for him who believes and does good, and none is made to receive this except the patient. So he made the earth to swallow him up, and his abode. He had no host to help him against Allah, nor was he one of those who can defend themselves. And those who had yearned for his place the day before began to say, no, that Allah amplifies and straightens the means of subsistence for whom he pleases of his servants. Had not Allah been gracious to us, he would have abased us. No, that the ungrateful are never successful. That abode of the hereafter, we assign it to those who have no desire to exalt themselves in the earth, nor to make mischief, and the good end is for those who keep their duty. Whoever brings a good, he will have better than it, and whoever brings evil, those who do evil will be requited only for what they did. He who has made the Quran binding on thee will surely bring thee back to the place of return. Say, my Lord knows best him who has brought the guidance, and him who is in manifest error. And thou didst not expect that the book would be inspired to thee, but it is a mercy from thy Lord. So be not a backer up of the disbelievers. And let them not turn thee aside from the messages of Allah after they have been revealed to thee. And call men to thy Lord, and be not of the polytheist. And call not with Allah any other God. There is no God but He. Everything will perish but He. His is the judgment, and to Him you will be brought back. Surah 29, Al-Ankabut, the Spider. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I, Allah, am the best knower. Do men think that they will be left alone on saying we believe and will not be tried? And indeed, we tried those before them. So Allah will certainly know those who are true, and He will know the liars. Or do they who work evil think that they will escape us? Evil is that they judge. Whoever hopes to meet with Allah, the term of Allah is then surely coming, and He is the hearing, the knowing. And whoever strives hard, strives for himself. Surely Allah is self-sufficient above need of His creatures. And those who believe and do good, we shall certainly do away with their afflictions and reward them for the best of what they did. And we have enjoined on man goodness to his parents. But if they contend with thee to associate others with me, of which thou hast no knowledge, obey them not. To me is your return, so I will inform you of what you did. And those who believe and do good, we shall surely make them enter among the righteous. And among men is he who says, we believe in Allah. But when he is persecuted for the sake of Allah, he thinks the persecution of men to be as the chastisement of Allah. And if there comes help from thy Lord, they will say, surely we were with you. Is not Allah the best knower of what is in the hearts of mankind? And certainly Allah will know those who believe, and He will know the hypocrites. And those who disbelieve say to those who believe, follow our path, and we will bear your wrongs. And they can never bear aught of their wrongs. Surely they are liars. And they will certainly bear their own burdens. and other burdens besides their own burdens, and they will certainly be questioned on the day of resurrection as to what they forged. And we indeed sent Noah to his people, so he remained among them 1,000 years, save 50 years. And the deluge overtook them, and they were wrongdoers. So we delivered him and the inmates of the ark, and made it a sign to the nations. And we sent Abraham when he said to his people, serve Allah and keep your duty to him. That is better for you if you did but know. You only worship idols besides Allah, and you invent a lie. Surely they whom you serve besides Allah control no sustenance for you. So they seek sustenance from Allah and serve him and be grateful to him. To him you will be brought back. And if you reject nations before you did reject the truth, and the duty of the messenger is only to deliver the message plainly. See they not how Allah originates the creation, then reproduces it? Surely that is easy to Allah. Say, travel in the earth, then see how he makes the first creation, then Allah creates the latter creation. Surely Allah is possessor of power over all things. He chastises whom he pleases and has mercy on whom he pleases, and to him you will be turned back. And you cannot escape in the earth nor in the heavens, and you have no protector or helper besides Allah. And those who disbelieve in the messages of Allah and the meeting with him, they despair of my mercy, and for them is a painful chastisement. So naught was the answer of his people, except that they said, slay him or burn him, but Allah delivered him from the fire. Surely therein are signs for a people who believe. And he said, you have only taken idols besides Allah by way of friendship between you in this world's life. Then on the day of resurrection, some of you will deny others, and some of you will curse others, and your abode is the fire, and you will have no helpers. So Lot believed in him, and he said, I am fleeing to my Lord. Surely he is the mighty, the wise. And we granted him Isaac and Jacob, and ordained prophethood and the book among his seed. And we gave him his reward in this world, and in the hereafter he will surely be among the righteous. And we sent Lot, when he said to his people, surely you are guilty of an abomination which none of the nations has done before you. Do you come to males and commit robbery on the highway, and commit evil deeds in your assemblies? But the answer of his people was only that they said, bring on us Allah's chastisement if thou art truthful. He said, my Lord, help me against the mischievous people. And when our messengers came to Abraham with good news, they said, we are going to destroy the people of this town, for its people are iniquitous. He said, surely in it is Lot. They said, we know well who is in it. We shall certainly deliver him and his followers, except his wife. She is of those who remained behind. And when our messengers came to Lot, he was grieved on account of them, and he lacked strength to protect them. And they said, fear not, nor grieve. Surely we will deliver thee and thy followers, except thy wife. She is of those who remain behind. Surely we are going to bring down upon the people of this town a punishment from heaven, because they transgressed. And certainly we have left a clear sign of it for a people who understand. And to Midian we sent their brother Shu'ab. So he said, O my people, serve Allah and fear the latter day, and act not corruptly, making mischief in the land. But they rejected him. So a severe earthquake overtook them, and they lay prostrate in their abodes. And Ad and Thamud and some of their dwellings are indeed apparent to you. And the devil made their deeds fair seeming to them. So he kept them back from the path, and they could see clearly. And Korah and Pharaoh and Haman. And certainly Moses came to them with clear arguments, but they behaved haughtily in the land, and they could not outstrip us. So each one we punished for his sin. Of them was he on whom we sent a violent storm, and of them was he whom the rumbling overtook, and of them was he whom we caused the earth to swallow, and of them was he whom we drowned. And it was not Allah who wronged them, but they wronged themselves. The parable of those who take guardians besides Allah is as the parable of the spider that makes for itself a house. And surely the frailest of houses is the spider's house, if they but knew. Surely Allah knows whatever they call upon besides him, and he is the mighty, the wise. And these parables we set them forth for men, and none understand them but the learned. Allah creates the heavens and the earth with truth. Surely there is a sign in this for the believers.